Thank you very much. Next witness, the next member, and probably the last, is the gentleman from Hawaii, Mr. Case. You have 5 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Ranking Member, members of the committee. Aloha and mahalo for the opportunity to support this committee's continued efforts on behalf of critical water resources activities and programs that are important to both our nation and to my home state of Hawaii. Hawaii, of course, is an island state with the ocean on all sides, so the impacts of our ocean on our land directly affect our everyday lives. This is especially important where we go to enjoy our oceans and marine environment, and where we host millions of visitors per year seeking the same experience, making travel and tourism by far our largest single economy. So the impacts of climate change on coastal erosion and flooding, especially along our world-class beaches, are severe both as to our economy and our way of life. The state of Hawaii needs the technical assistance only the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers can provide to save our precious beaches and oceans, especially iconic Waikiki Beach and the surrounding Mamala Bay. This is my top WRDA request to this committee for assistance. Mamala Bay and Waikiki Beach and Honolulu have played a central role in Hawaii's recreational, cultural, and economic story for centuries. Waikiki Beach and its offshore waters form the hub of our visitor industry, our largest overall economic driver with direct contributions of around 25% of our total GDP. Waikiki Beach is one of the most visited and enjoyed beaches on Earth with over 10 million visitors per year. These visitors are both local residents, for whom Waikiki Beach is the most central ocean recreation area in urban Honolulu, and are tourists. The majority of tourists who visit Hawaii stay at some point in Waikiki hotels and resorts right on Waikiki Beach or right next to it so they can visit the beach. A 2016 report by the University of Hawaii concluded that some 58% of tourists to Waikiki would not have visited if there was no beach and easy ocean access at Waikiki. However, the increasing impacts of climate change and sea level rise, which is especially problematic for island states and territories such as Hawaii, are taking an alarming toll on Waikiki Beach. Especially over the past decade, there have been an alarming increase in shoreline erosion with associated impacts on the immediate ocean habitat, ecosystems, and recreational opportunities. These have been exacerbated by completely inadequate shoreline stabilization efforts for decades, and in some places over a century old. The threat of further accelerating erosion up to the total loss of the beach is very real. The consequences would be widespread. In the visitor industry alone, the University of Hawaii 2016 study concluded that complete erosion of Waikiki Beach would result in a loss of some $2.2 billion annually in spending and revenue for Hawaii's economy. There have been some small and discrete stabilization projects initiated and implemented along specific portions of the Waikiki coastline, but no comprehensive integrated project that would address the threat in its entirety. A new comprehensive feasibility study is required to develop a project or series of projects that address the long-term sustainability and utility of Waikiki Beach and its adjacent ocean environment and critical public infrastructure. Such a study will help ensure the associated recreational and economic benefits are preserved and enhanced. Your committee has within its power the ability to make a legislative correction to assure this study can move forward. Section 209 of Public Law 87-874 currently authorizes the Corps of Engineers to conduct surveys of flood and tidal events only of Hawaii's rivers and harbors, but it does not cover related shorelines or nearby buildings and infrastructure. There is really no justification for this distinction, especially in the specific case of Waikiki Beach, where the basic challenge extends from the land through the beach to the marine environment. Your support is needed to make sure we take into consideration the outsized issues like this that remote and coastal locations face as our country debates how to approach impacts to infrastructure due to climate change. Finally, I would like to express my gratitude to the Corps of Engineers for its continued commitment to improving and adjusting to these unique situations in Hawaii and urge further consideration of these topics that are so vital to my home island state. Mahalo again for your time, and I appreciate your consideration of these concerns from Hawaii as you reauthorize the Water Resources Development Act.
Thank you for your testimony, Mr. Case, and I understand what climate change is doing to all of the United States. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you to all the members for their testimony. It was very enlightening and very helpful to the subcommittee. I ask unanimous consent that the record of today's hearing remain open until such time as our witnesses have provided any answers they